Years ago, I was in grad school getting a Master's of Science in Education so I could go on to teach high school history and social studies. Now, like what happens with a lot of people, obviously I had a change of life plans and didn't end up doing that. But for that time in my life then, I needed for my portfolio a letter of recommendation from one of my teachers, and I needed it soon. So I emailed the teacher of the class I was in, and thankfully, he was able to write one for me. Or at least I think it was a letter of recommendation. I won't actually share the professor's name, but here's what the actual letter says. To whom it may concern. This letter of recommendation is for Kevin Burr. I have known Kevin for the past year as a student in my class. Kevin is an average student in the course that I taught. Kevin turns in his work on time, and it is completed according to my directions. He contributes to class discussions. He is willing to share his thoughts on issues. I've not observed Kevin outside of the classroom very much, other than seeing him in the hallway. So, I do not feel qualified to comment other than that about the classroom. And that's it. That's the whole thing. At least he wasn't rude, but I don't think this letter would inspire any future employers to give me a second look either. If you want a real letter of recommendation, we could take a look at what Paul says about his friend and fellow minister, Timothy. I hope in the Lord Jesus to send Timothy to you soon, that I may also be cheered when I receive news about you. I have no one else like him who will show genuine concern for your welfare. For everyone looks out for their own interests, not those of Jesus Christ. But you know that Timothy has proved himself, because as a son with his father he has served with me in the work of the gospel. I hope therefore to send him as soon as I see how things go with me, and I am confident in the Lord that I myself will come soon. Paul is preparing the Philippians for Timothy's upcoming visit as his commissioned representative. In just a few short lines, Paul gives Timothy his highest recommendation. According to Paul, you could put it like this: Timothy imitates Paul like Paul imitates Christ. In a similar way, we ought to be like letters of recommendation for Jesus. Someone you run into might not know Jesus, but they should be able to learn something about his goodness or grace or justice or love because of how you treat them. If we're supposed to be ambassadors of Jesus, then we are his commissioned representatives, telling the world about him in everything we say and do. So let's let our whole lives be the strongest recommendation we can give for Jesus, so others can see us and know him.